chosen ones, your light doesn't just illuminate, it attracts. And while that may sound like a blessing, it can also be a quiet, hidden danger. In a world full of unseen energies and complex human dynamics, the very thing that sets you apart, your clarity, your sensitivity, your intuition, can become a magnet. A magnet not just for goodness, but for manipulation, energy drain, and one-sided relationships. Your light shines like a beacon through the fog of confusion that surrounds others. People feel it, even if they don't understand it. And when they find themselves lost, broken, or in chaos, they come to you. Not always out of love or respect, but often because your energy offers what they lack in themselves. But here's what nobody tells you. When your light becomes a lighthouse for others, it also makes you visible to the wrong ones, those who don't want to stand in your glow, but rather feed from it. You may have already noticed the symptoms. That strange exhaustion after certain conversations. That doubt creeping into your intuition, even though you've always trusted it. That subtle frustration when your boundaries are crossed, but you're too drained to respond. These aren't coincidences. These are signs. Clues that your energy may be under siege in ways so subtle, they can slip under your radar unless you know how to see them. Today, we're diving deep into 8 quiet, yet powerful signs that someone may be using you. Not in the obvious, toxic ways, but in the gentle erosion of your spirit. The kind that makes you question your worth. The kind that leaves you tired, yet unsure why. The kind that happens not with enemies, but with people you once trusted. As we explore these signs, I invite you to breathe, to feel, and most importantly, to remember who you are. You are not here to be a vessel for everyone's healing. You are not a resource to be mined. You are a divine soul with a mission, and that mission requires your protection. Let's begin. Sign 1. They only reach out when they need something you're going about your day. Maybe you're feeling good, aligned, clear, present in your energy. Then out of the blue, a message arrives. It's from someone you haven't heard from in weeks or months. The tone is familiar, even warm. There might be a little nostalgia sprinkled in. But as you keep reading, it becomes clear this isn't a genuine check-in. It's a setup. Behind the smiles and emojis lies a request, a favor, a need, and not a small one either. It's subtle, but it hits your nervous system in a very specific way, like being pulled on energetically before you've even responded. And that's the first red flag. For people with strong intuition and a deep sense of empathy, these interactions are more than just inconvenient. They're draining. Because you don't just read between the lines, you feel them. Your spirit picks up on the intention long before your brain catches up. You may even find yourself feeling guilty for wanting to say no. That's the trap. Your ability to hold space, to heal, to listen, these are sacred gifts. But they come with a cost. Every time you give without return, you chip away at the energy you need for your own growth, your own peace. And if someone only remembers you when they're in trouble, that's not connection. That's consumption. This pattern is ancient. The healer, the wise one, the guide, these archetypes have always been sought in times of need. But what history often forgets is that even the healer must rest. Even the guide needs guidance. And no one, no matter how powerful, is meant to be used endlessly without care or reciprocity. If this resonates, take a moment and breathe into the truth. You do not exist solely to fix others. You are allowed to say no. You are allowed to protect your energy. In fact, you must. Your mission depends on it. Sign 2. They downplay your achievements. This one cuts deep. You've had a breakthrough spiritually, emotionally, energetically. Maybe you finally released a trauma that haunted you for years. Maybe you helped someone in a way that changed their life. Maybe your intuition guided you so clearly, it gave you chills. Excited, you share it with someone close. You're glowing, maybe even a little nervous to open up. But instead of celebration, you get a shrug. A half-hearted, "Oh, that's cool." Or worse, a passive-aggressive remark. "Well, anyone could have done that." The air shifts. the energy flattens. And suddenly, your sacred moment feels small. For chosen ones, this kind of dismissal is more than just disappointing, it's an attack on your life. Your achievements aren't always visible. They don't always come with trophies or applause. But they are milestones on your soul's path. When someone downplays them, whether from insecurity, envy, or ignorance, they aren't just ignoring your win. They're subtly trying to dim your radiance. Why would they do that? Often, it's not even conscious. People who are not connected to their own purpose can feel threatened by yours. Your growth reminds them of where they're stuck. Your clarity reflects their confusion. Your light exposes their shadows. And rather than face that discomfort, they try to pull you down gently, quietly, but consistently. You must remember this. Your path is yours alone. No one else has to understand it. No one else has to validate it. When someone can't celebrate your rise, it's a sign they don't belong in the highest levels of your circle. Let them go. And more importantly, celebrate yourself. Speak your truth, honor your growth, and never shrink to make someone else comfortable in your light. Sign 3. You feel emotionally and spiritually drained after interaction. Some people don't steal from your bank account, they steal from your energy field. You've likely met them. The friend who talks endlessly but never asks how you're doing. The coworker who vents every day, yet never takes your advice. The family member who guilt trips you into helping, only to leave you feeling heavy, anxious, and ungrounded. They're called energy vampires, not because they're evil, but because they're unconscious. They take without realizing the toll it takes on others. And for people like you, empaths, healers, intuitive souls, this toll is steep. Your body knows before your mind does. After certain conversations, you feel tired. Headaches, irritability, even physical pain can follow. Emotionally, you may feel low, foggy, or suddenly unmotivated. That's not just coincidence. That's your energy field responding to an imbalance. Healthy relationships have an energetic flow. Sometimes you give, sometimes you receive. But when the giving is always on your side, and the receiving never comes, you begin to empty out. And when your spiritual energy is drained, your connection to your higher self weakens. Your clarity dulls. Your power dims. This is why boundaries are not optional. They're spiritual armor. Protecting your energy doesn't mean cutting people off completely. It means being intentional about where your energy goes. It means pausing before saying yes. It means checking in with your body and intuition after every interaction. How do you feel when you leave that person's space? Lighter or heavier? Seen or used? Inspired or depleted? The answers will tell you everything you need to know. Sign 4. They try to manipulate your gifts. Now we enter sacred territory. Your gifts, whether intuitive, healing, creative, or energetic, are not party tricks. They are not tools for someone else's convenience. They are sacred expressions of your soul's alignment with the divine. And yet, you may notice that once people discover what you're capable of, their behavior shifts. Suddenly, you're the one they come to for every life decision. They want readings, insight, healing, but not in reverence. In demand. In expectation. They treat your sacred channel like a free hotline for their confusion. And if you don't respond right away, you're met with guilt, disappointment, or even passive aggression. This is manipulation. And it is dangerous, not just for your peace, but for the integrity of your gift. When your abilities are used outside of sacred space, when you are pressured into offering insight without consent, rest, or mutual respect, your gift begins to dim. It recoils. Because your spirit knows it is being exploited, not honored. You may even begin to feel resentment, guilt, or anxiety when people ask for your help. Not because you don't want to give, but because you're being pulled, not invited. That's the key distinction. And it matters. You must reclaim the sacredness of your gift. Not everyone gets access. Not every request deserves a response. You are not here to serve on demand. You are here to serve with discernment, to offer your insight from a full cup, not a depleted well. And when someone tries to manipulate your light for their own gain, that is your signal. Step back, recenter, remember who you are. Your gifts are divine, and only those who honor them and you are worthy of receiving them. There comes a time in every chosen one's journey when your spiritual gifts, your intuition, your wisdom, your sacred connection are no longer just admired, they're targeted. Some people won't approach you with reverence, but with greed. Not everyone who smiles in your presence respects what you carry. Some only see your light as a resource, something to be mined, not honored. And when that happens, it's not just disrespectful, it becomes dangerous to your path. It's easy to overlook it at first. Maybe someone constantly asks for guidance, but never checks on you. Maybe they need you only when their life falls apart and disappear the moment you pause to breathe. But then it escalates. They begin to expect access to your energy on demand, to treat your insights as theirs to harvest whenever it suits them. And in some cases, they'll even attempt to profit from your abilities, emotionally, socially, or financially, without ever asking if you're okay. The truth is, your gifts are sacred. They're not entertainment. They're not convenience. They're purpose. They're the whispers of the divine woven into your soul. And when someone tries to manipulate them for their own benefit, they are not just crossing a line. They are trying to pull you off your destined path. These moments are crossroads. Will you allow yourself to be drained, or will you reclaim your power? Ask yourself, are there people in your life who only acknowledge you when they want something from you? Do you feel a quiet pressure to perform, to reveal, to serve, even when your spirit is saying no? If the answer stings a little, good. That sting is your intuition waking up. Listen to it. The way forward? Boundaries. Bold, unapologetic, spiritual boundaries. Your gift is not a public resource. It's a divine inheritance. You don't owe access to anyone who doesn't first honor you as a soul. Say no. Say it gently or say it fiercely, but say it. Because your growth depends on protecting the vessel your purpose flows through. You. One of the most exhausting dynamics chosen ones face is the emotional yo-yo of inconsistent support. It's confusing. 1 minute, someone is your biggest fan, cheering, praising, echoing your brilliance. The next, they're cold, distant, or even critical. And you're left wondering, what did I do wrong? But that's the wrong question. The truth is, you did nothing wrong. They're simply not capable or willing to support you when it's inconvenient for them. This kind of inconsistency creates an emotional roller coaster that chips away at your confidence. It's not just the absence of support, it's the withholding of it in moments you need it most. You see, during your high points, they're present because your light is magnetic, energizing, even useful to them. But when you're navigating challenges, doing shadow work, or needing reciprocity, they vanish. Or worse, they criticize you for being too much, too sensitive, or not the same person anymore. For someone walking a sacred path, this kind of betrayal cuts deep. Your journey includes moments of rawness, soul excavation, painful awakening, spiritual solitude. It is in those moments you most need someone to hold space for you, not disappear. When support becomes conditional, based on your usefulness or status, it's not support, it's self-interest in disguise. The pain is real, but it's also your teacher. It shows you who is aligned with your soul and who is merely orbiting your light. Learn from it. Pay attention to the patterns. And don't confuse shared history with mutual respect. Walk with those who don't flinch when your path gets dark. Now let's talk about something that feels like betrayal wrapped in silence. When someone steals your ideas, your creations, your intuitive downloads, and claims them as their own. For chosen ones, this can be one of the most bitter experiences. Why? Because your work, your thoughts, your visions, they don't come from ego. They come from deep places. They are born from communion with higher realms, born from stillness, from sacred alignment. So when someone takes that and parades it as theirs, it's more than theft. It's a spiritual violation. You trust someone with your vision. You speak your truth, perhaps quietly, humbly, hoping it's safe. Then days or weeks later, you hear your words echo from someone else's mouth. Or worse, you see your insights packaged and praised while you are erased from the narrative. And the sting doesn't just come from the lack of credit, it comes from the intent. They took what was sacred and made it transactional. This is why discernment is so essential. Not everyone deserves access to your mind. Not everyone deserves your vulnerability. You must protect your creative spirit like a flame in the wind. Be selective about who you open up to. Keep records. Write things down. Voice note your visions. Document the origin of your work, not for validation, but for preservation. And when someone crosses the line, say something. Not in anger, but in truth. You're not causing drama by asserting your authorship. You are reclaiming your light. Your wisdom has value. Never let anyone take it and silence your name. One of the darkest forms of manipulation is when someone actively tries to dim your light. It can start with subtle comments. Are you sure you're ready for that? Don't get ahead of yourself. You've changed. But slowly, these seeds of doubt grow into vines that attempt to choke your brilliance. They question your intuition. They mock your confidence. They make you feel like you're too much or not enough, all at once. And here's the truth. They're afraid. Afraid of your power. Afraid of your evolution. Afraid that your growth means they'll have to confront their own stagnation. And so instead of rising with you, they try to pull you back down to a version of yourself they can control. Chosen one, never let anyone shrink you to fit their comfort zone. Your light was not meant to be dimmed to please others. You were not meant to dilute your essence to avoid making people uncomfortable. Their insecurity is not your responsibility. Their fear of your greatness is not a sign that you should be smaller. It's proof that you're rising. Stand firm. Hold your frequency. You don't need to defend your shine to anyone. Your existence is permission enough. And those who are truly meant to walk with you will never ask you to shrink to make them feel tall. Perhaps the most insidious manipulation of all is guilt. It doesn't yell. It whispers. It doesn't shove. It nudges slowly, softly, until you're carrying burdens that were never yours to hold. I was counting on you, and you let me down. If you really cared, you'd do this. After everything I've done for you. Sound familiar? For those walking a divine path, especially the deeply empathetic, guilt hits like a blade in the heart. You want to help. You want to heal. And manipulators know this. They don't ask, they imply. They use your compassion against you, weaponizing your empathy so you'll keep giving, even when it's costing you peace. But guilt is not a sign of love. It's a tool of control. And if you constantly feel obligated, emotionally drained, or unsure of your worth after interacting with someone, it's not love. It's manipulation. The truth is, you don't owe anyone your life. You don't have to sacrifice your peace to be a good person. You don't have to abandon your truth to meet someone's expectations. You can say no, and you don't have to explain it. Boundaries are not cruelty. They're clarity. And in a world that constantly demands your energy, having the courage to protect your spirit is an act of self-respect that sends a powerful message to the universe. I honor my gift. Protecting your light is sacred work. At the end of the day, your energy is your responsibility. Your gifts are divine. Your insight, your vision, your light, it's all part of a sacred contract you made before you even came into this lifetime. Not everyone will understand that. Not everyone will honor it. But you must. Protecting your spiritual path is not selfish, it's survival. You weren't chosen to be used. You weren't chosen to be drained. You were chosen to lead, to heal, to illuminate. And that requires discernment, boundaries, and fierce self-love. Surround yourself with those who see you, not just what you offer. People who celebrate your presence, not just your usefulness. Let go of the emotional vampires, the manipulators, the ones who disappear when your shine fades for a moment. Your path is too important to be derailed by people who don't recognize your value. You are not here to be convenient. You are here to be legendary. Let your light rise. Let it speak. Let it shake the earth if it must. But above all, never let it be dimmed by those too small to hold it.